If you have already watched this introductory information, you can skip ahead no more than 10 minutes. Hello, welcome. It is predicted that President Trump will die from a heart attack on December 26, 2024. It is also predicted that Trump's heart attack will be triggered by a directed energy weapon that will target Trump through Bluetooth technology. The components inside the pointy thing that Trump took will facilitate this. And it is believed that when Trump visited Biden at the White House, Trump's Bluetooth MAC address was obtained, which will be used to target Trump with a directed energy weapon. I am predicting that on December 27th, 2024, Vice President Kamala Harris will die in a plane crash in St. Louis due to a bird strike into Busch Stadium. In the area code 314, it will be a burning bush, as described in Exodus 3:14. And Harris's death on December 24th will be exactly 3,140 days after her birth, and this hints at 314. She will be replaced by Michelle Obama, and then Barack Obama will replace Michelle. It is predicted that on December 25th, Joe Biden will suffer a stroke. I am predicting that dirty bombs will explode in Manhattan, New York City, and there will be a large-scale evacuation on December 28th. Martial law will be declared in the U.S. I am predicting that Israel will bomb Iran on December 29th, 2024. After Kamala Harris's predicted plane crash on December 24th and Joe Biden's predicted stroke on December 25th, it is predicted that Joe Biden will replace Kamala Harris with Michelle Obama as the vice president. Joe Biden will then step down. Per the 20th Amendment, Congress will vote to make Michelle Obama the temporary president. It is predicted that Joe Biden will then step down and Michelle Obama will become the 47th president, and then she will appoint Barack Obama as the 51st vice president. It is then predicted that she will step down on January 12th and Barack Obama will become the 48th president. I am predicting that former President Jimmy Carter will die on January 28th. It is predicted that on April 20th, 2025, there will be an outbreak of monkeypox or Marburg disease or both. April 20th will be a symbolic beginning to a new pandemic. Alternatively, it could also be that the symbolic beginning to the new pandemic will be on April 1st, 2025, and that on April 20th, 2025, martial law will be declared because of the new outbreak. It is predicted that on June 9th, the day after the rapture, the key will open the bottomless pit and fallen angels will cross over into the earthly realm. June 9th will be a symbolic beginning to the fifth trumpet judgment that is described in Revelation chapter 9, when the demonic realm collides with the earthly realm. June 9th will be a symbolic beginning to demons pretending to be aliens. The demons pretending to be aliens will claim to be here to help us with our nuclear weapons after Damascus, Syria is destroyed with a nuclear weapon the day before June 9th. And it is possible that June 9th will be the day Pope Francis will announce that aliens have arrived and have made him the ambassador for the world. This will immediately give Pope Francis, the Antichrist, supreme power over governments of the world. At some point, there will be a massive Mary apparition that will deceive the masses, because all Mary apparitions in history have been demons pretending to be Mary. June 9th will be a symbolic beginning to a zombie pandemic and the masses becoming demonically possessed. that will be facilitated through the thing, which is the mark of the Antichrist and 5G frequencies. June 9th will be a symbolic beginning to the coming genocide politicide in America. I am predicting that singer-songwriter Paul Simon will die on August 1st, 2025. It is predicted that on August 6th, 2025, the historic barge that has been stuck on the rocks of the Niagara River for over 100 years will finally break free and crash over Niagara Falls. The reason for this is that Niagara Falls is Noah's flood symbolism, and the barge was involved in the most dramatic rescue in the history of Niagara Falls, symbolic of Noah's Ark. Niagara in the native language means straight, narrow way, and Niagara's Horseshoe Falls is perfectly aimed at the CN Tower in downtown Toronto, because Toronto and its tower are symbolic of the Tower of Babel. In a game of horseshoes, the object is to aim the horseshoe and throw it at the metal stick, which is why the Horseshoe Falls is perfectly aimed at the metal stick that is the CN Tower. God is communicating that as testament for those who will live in the 1,000 years of Christ's reign on earth, the geography of North America will, as a result of a massive earthquake, be divided by a body of water from the Great Lakes to the Mississippi Delta. This destruction will be judgment on America and Canada for attempting to divide God's land, Israel. When this happens, the water in the Great Lakes will spill out over southern Ontario and Toronto. I am predicting that a solar flare will erupt on the surface of the sun and send a coronal mass ejection that will hit Earth on August 13th, 2025, which will knock out America's power grid and will lead to food shortages. The hit of the coronal mass ejection, predicted for August 13th, that will knock out the power grid will also knock many planes out of the sky. I am predicting that on August 23rd, 2025, there will be a catastrophic asteroid hit of Earth, which will trigger the eruption of Yellowstone volcano and will cause the volcano in the Canary Islands to collapse into the Atlantic Ocean and send a mega tsunami towards the east coast. The asteroid will also trigger a mega landslide on Hawaii Island that will trigger a mega tsunami that will hit the west coast. It will also trigger the collapse of the Hoover Dam, which will cause a water panic in California, and many other devastating earthquakes. The day of the Lord, the second coming of Lord Jesus Christ, Judgment Day, will be at the end of 2026. The date that this video is posted proves that these predictions are being made ahead of time, as do these time-stamped emails and forensic notes PDF documents. If you are skeptical for some reason, please email me and I will forward these to you. Believe me, I know far better than you how the prediction made in this video was derived, and more importantly, I know far better than you why the righteous Christian God of the Bible has given me a voice through this prediction. If you are a quote-unquote Christian or Muslim, this prediction was not learned through a demon. Be warned that blaspheming the Holy Spirit is the unforgivable sin. If you are a New Ager or New Spirituality person, this prediction was not learned through somehow tapping into the supposed universal collective consciousness. If you are a conspiracy theorist, this prediction was not learned through figuring out a supposed code that the Illuminati and Satanists are using. This prediction was learned through the Bible and through watching carefully the Lord's prophetic signs, which Jesus commanded all Christians to do. Besides proving that Jesus Christ is the Lord, the reason why God has given me a voice through this prediction is to prove that the controversial things that I am saying in the videos on this channel are the truth. Therefore, a wise person will want to watch all of the videos on this channel. What I will also do is create a video or two that summarizes some of the controversial things that the Lord will prove to be true when the prediction being made in this video comes to pass. I will leave links to these must-watch videos in the description box below this video. Again, the purpose of this prediction, that is from God, is to prove these things that I will talk about. And therefore, it would be foolish to not watch the videos that I will leave links for in the description box below this video. Make a note right now of these alternative platforms that you can find me on in case you can't find me later. The Chinese spy balloon, the Chinese spy weather balloon. By the way, China is symbolic of the red dragon in Revelation chapter 12 that symbolizes Satan and the Antichrist. The Chinese red dragon spy weather balloon that was shot down, and then again in Revelation chapter 12, the dragon is thrown down from heaven. The sky is the first heaven, outer space the second heaven, right? Third heaven is heaven. The Chinese red dragon spy weather balloon that was shot down from the first heaven, because again, the red dragon is thrown down from heaven to earth in Revelation chapter 12. This Chinese red dragon spy weather balloon was shot down on February 4th, 2023, and it pointed to the weather balloon that crashed near Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. The Roswell incident is symbolic of aliens and UFOs. God is playing on this, which are in truth demons pretending to be aliens. The story of the spy balloon was its path over America, right? The story was the slow path that took over America, and that was symbolic of the path of totality, because the path of the balloon was a line, right? A straight, not a straight line, but a line in the sky over America. And that was symbolic of the path of totality of the 2017 eclipse over America. That, like the balloon, went from west to east over America and exited the U.S. on the Atlantic coast over South Carolina. Both of them, the eclipse and the balloon. All right, the balloon was shot down over the coast of South Carolina after the line that it traversed over America, just like the eclipse, okay? That's what God was pointing to, the eclipse with the balloon. And the eclipse peaked over St. Louis. Harris's predicted crash in St. Louis in the 314 area code will be 3 days, as in 3.14 in pi, after Francis opened the portals to the demons in Rome. And again, she'll crash near or next to the Gateway Arch, which is symbolic of a portal. Harris's crash on December 27th, predicted crash, will be 1 year, 10 months, and 23 days after the spy balloon was shot down. 1 year, 10 months, and 23 days hints at 1,123, the 188th prime number. Strong's Concordance H188 is the word that means woe, exclamation mark. It is used in the Bible in the context of extreme judgment from God. Harris's predicted airplane crash on December 27th, 2024 will also be 11 months and 23 days after the Alaska, as in the 49th state, as in the 49th Vice President Kamala Harris, Airlines, which is an anagram for aliens, flight, dropped its door, as in portal, onto Portland, onto a residential neighborhood of Portland. In other words, the Portland door sign was a portal sign that hinted at aliens, demons pretending to be aliens. And Kamala Harris, will crash in a plane, just like that sign was a plane, right? 11 months and 23 days is the interval between, and that's again hinting at H188, woe, exclamation mark. Her crash will be a big woe, as will be the day that aliens are widely accepted everywhere to be here. But there'll be demons pretending to be aliens. Now, That's a second witness confirmation, and this is again how God's true big picture of signs, patterns, and connections works. It works, which is only being explained on this channel. It works on the principle of second and third and multiple witnesses confirming a matter. This 11 months and 23 days is a second witness to this 1 year, 10 months, and 23 days that connects back to the other aliens sign. Both of these connect with aliens symbolism. The other aliens sign was the red dragon spy balloon that again pointed to the weather balloon that fell on Roswell, right? And also, speaking of the eclipse, there were actually 3 eclipses. There was one on October 14th, 2023, and that went over Roswell. And Roswell is on the longitude. So the eclipse was about the longitudinal line, right? That it exited, by the way. Okay, so here we go. So you got to explain one thing to explain another thing. So the eclipse, the 2017 eclipse, entered the 33rd state and exited on the 33rd longitudinal line. That's because it occurred 33 days before the red dragon sign in the night sky, okay? In Revelation chapter 12, the fulfillment of it. All right. Now, the red dragon spy balloon pointed to the weather balloon of the Roswell incident, okay? And Roswell is about its longitudinal and latitudinal lines. Because its GPS coordinates, when you divide them together, you get 0.314. Right? That's also, Roswell is in Chavez County. Chavez is the Spanish word for keys. We've been talking in this video about the key that will open the bottomless pit and demons pretending to be aliens, which Pope Francis will open, which is why the ritual he did on December 24th, the date it was expected that Kamala Harris would die in a plane crash, because God was pointing to it ahead of time, but we received the relevant signs, and that's why. Anyway, 3 days later, December 27th. Okay, so, but on the 24th, Kamala Harris was 3,140 weeks old, and she's predicted to die in the area code 314. This is actually ultimately pointing also to aliens, because she's going to die next to the Gateway Arch, which is a symbolism for a portal, and she'll fall from the sky on her way from Los Angeles, which hints at fallen angels. Okay, you get the idea here? You get what's going on here? That's why Pope Francis is tied into all of this. God is pointing to this symbolism of where she will die next to the Gateway Arch, which is symbolic of a portal, through which the demons will cross when the keys open the bottomless pit. And Roswell, which is synonymous with aliens and UFOs, is in Chavez County, which is Spanish for keys. And keys are the symbolism for the Vatican. Not only that, though, the coordinates of Roswell hint at, embedded in them, God embedded 0.314. God embedded pi. And if you plot the locations of the Roswell incident, you get the same thing. You've got this, in other words, this area of New Mexico. When you continue to plot the coordinates that equal 0.314, you end up getting a line across the state that is parallel to the eclipse path that just went over in October of 2023. It's amazing. That eclipse, okay, passed over the 47th state. By the way, Roswell happened on the date 474, which outside the U.S. is written as 47, in 1947. And in the 47th state. That's 3 47s there. That's because this theme of 47, as God is using in his signs as symbolism for what we're talking about, demons pretending to be aliens. That's, by the way, why, for one thing, the day that the spy balloon crossed into the U.S., which is symbolic of coming over the border wall of security and the wall of security collapsing in God's judgment. In this case, we were talking about the wall of security that separates the demonic realm from the earthly realm. That day of the day that the spy balloon passed into the U.S., which was, by the way, January 31st, 2023, that day was also the day of the last Boeing 747. And John Travolta delivered a speech at the warehouse in Seattle at the time. And John Travolta is known for Scientology, and Scientology is known for believing that aliens seeded humans on Earth. Okay? Okay, so what I was saying is that when you have this, and the eclipse, the one on October 14th, 2023, it exited the 4 times 7th state, the 28th state, Texas. It exited over Corpus Christi because this is a judgment sign for the church, because everything is for the church. That's the primary purpose of creation, the church. And the purpose of the end times and the Antichrist is to test the faith of the Christians that aren't yet worthy of making it. But they will be tested, and they will finally, contrary to their doctrine, be forced to make a sacrifice and do a works to be saved, to be justified, as James said. Anyway, that's the purpose of the end times and the end. It's to test the faith, because there's actually a majority of quote-unquote Christians that believe in the possibility of aliens. That means that they aren't Christian, period. I mean, they really do not know anything at all, because Christianity is about how God became a man and decided sacrificed himself and paid the price for death as a man, died on the cross for the sins of man, and did not hopscotch around the universe dying on crosses in other alien life forms. Okay, so what I'm saying here, I'm trying to get to the end here of this point, which is that this eclipse is amazing because the path that it crossed over the state of New Mexico and over Roswell, therefore God pointed to Roswell and aliens and UFOs, which is why it also exited the 4 times 7th state. And because Roswell is, the UFO Roswell is symbolized by the 47 because it occurred on the date 47 and in 47 in the 47th state. Okay, now the path of this eclipse mirrored this path, if you will, of GPS coordinates in the state of New Mexico when you divide them together, equaling 0.314, hinting at pi. Okay, you end up getting a line across the state if you do that with the coordinates of places in the state, and there you get not just places, but just open landscape, whatever. You get this line across the state, okay? It's the 314 line, if you will. It's the aliens line, if you will. Okay, it's all pointing to Kamala Harris dying at the Gateway Arch in the area code 314, the portal. Now, the last thing I want to say about that eclipse is that what's also not recognized about that eclipse by those that are, knowing of this eclipse as a prophetic sign is that it is the aliens eclipse. And another confirmation of that is that it passed over the Yucatan Peninsula, right where Cortez landed when he first arrived in Aztec territory. And at the time of his arrival, there was a prophetic solar eclipse. This is why the Aztecs believed he was a god, not only because of the technology, but because of the eclipse on the day of his arrival. So it's known as the Cortez eclipse, I think, but this eclipse pointed to it. And that the reason why is because for the Aztecs, Cortez and the white men would have been aliens, and they invaded. They arrived from another world. Literally, they arrived from the old world, which was another world for the Aztecs. Likewise, the new world was another world for the Spaniards. So that's symbolism for aliens arriving from the other world. Also, the Yucatan Peninsula, the shape of the geography of Mexico, if you look at it on a map, is in the shape of a shofar trumpet. That's very relevant because the border wall of security around Jericho collapsed in God's judgment after the Israelites blew trumpets, and that's why the nation that's south of the border wall of security is shaped like a trumpet. Well, the mouthpiece of the trumpet is the Yucatan Peninsula. And so when something happens like an eclipse going over it, it's symbolic of the mouthpiece being blown in the last trumpet blast, if you will, before the walls of America, the walls of security of America collapse in God's judgment. One last thing, some people say, well, why are you so focused on America? I mean, I hope you're not still saying that after watching, maybe if it's your first video, but the answer to that is that God is focused on America. A lot of people, that are anti-American or just haven't really thought about it have a problem with that. But do they have a problem with the Jews being chosen? Because the Jews were chosen. God chose America. America is God's Gentile nation. And those that are anti-America are spiritually, the root reason of it is spiritual. They're not with God, right? That's okay. So anyway, that's why anyway, Mexico is a trumpet that serves to point to the southern border of America. Okay, so that's the aliens eclipse. Now, let's see. Did I finish everything that I wanted to say there? Yeah, because the spy balloon that was shot down, I gave you all the connections with the 188 WOA, etc. And now you got a background as to why the spy balloon was in fact an aliens sign, because it was a parallel with the weather balloon over Roswell. And again, the spy balloon was about its path from west to east, as is New Mexico, because again, you've got this 314 line with the coordinates division, and that paralleled another eclipse, the October 2023 eclipse. Okay. Believe me, I know far better than you how the prediction made in this video was derived. And more importantly, I know far better than you why the righteous Christian God of the Bible has given me a voice through this prediction. If you are a quote-unquote Christian or Muslim, this prediction was not learned through a demon. Be warned that blaspheming the Holy Spirit is the unforgivable sin. If you are a New Ager or New Spirituality person, this prediction was not learned through somehow tapping into the supposed universal collective consciousness. If you are a conspiracy theorist, this prediction was not learned through figuring out a supposed code that the Illuminati and Satanists are using. This prediction was learned through the Bible and through watching carefully the Lord's prophetic signs, which Jesus commanded all Christians to do. Besides proving that Jesus Christ is the Lord, the reason why God has given me a voice through this prediction is to prove that the controversial things that I am saying in the videos on this channel are the truth. Therefore, a wise person will want to watch all of the videos on this channel. What I will also do is create a video or two that summarizes some of the controversial things that the Lord will prove to be true when the prediction being made in this video comes to pass. I will leave links to these must-watch videos in the description box below this video. Again, the purpose of this prediction, that is from God, is to prove these things that I will talk about. And therefore, it would be foolish to not watch the videos that I will leave links for in the description box below this video. Aliens and UFOs are demons masquerading as aliens and UFOs. Most people's spiritual experiences are demonic deception, especially if they are not a true follower of Christ. In the last days, many people who claim to be a follower of Christ will have spiritual experiences that are in reality demonic. God became a man and died a horrible death at the hand of the ruler of this world, Satan, and then defeated death for you, so that you too can overcome death, which is the price that must be paid for sin. It is time to repent, which means to change one's ways and turn to God and become a disciple of Jesus. Please leave a like and upvote the video. And once this prediction has come to pass, share this video with everyone you know, and more. Don't stop sharing it everywhere in social media. It is essential that everyone immediately read the homepage of my website, TrumpPrediction.com. If you are watching this on the YouTube platform, please note that not all of the videos are on YouTube. You need to switch to the Odyssey.com or Rumble.com channel, and do it now in case you aren't able to later.